And now we're up to the Mishnah on the top of Daf Yudam and Beitza. And we're continuing our discussion about specifying his gozlim, his birds, on Erev Yontif for the purpose of Yontif. Zimein Shchorim, he designated black birds, umata on Yontif, he finds in the coop where he designated Levanim, he only finds white ones. Or the reverse, Levanim Matzah Shchorim. Obviously, these are not the birds that he prepared. The white ones didn't turn black, and the black ones didn't turn white. Or alternatively, he designated Shnayim Umatza Shlosha. There are 3 birds in the can. Obviously, the birds that he had put there, 2 in number, flew the coop, literally, and they were replaced by 3 birds that came from the Alma, from the Veld. Is therefore they're all Asurim. In all these cases, it's quite clear that these are not the birds that he designated. Shlosho Matzah Shnayim. However, if he designated 3 birds in the coop on Erev Yontif, and now on Yontif he finds only 2, Mutarit. We assume that those are 2 out of the 3 that he designated, and the 3rd flew the coop. B'sochaken, if he designated birds that were inside the coop, umatza lifneaken, and then when he comes to shech the bird, he finds it that it's on a certain ritzvah, a certain kind of a ground, a flat ground that's beyond the beyond the shova, is asurim. Once again, we're afraid that the birds that he had designated inside the coop are no longer. And now he finds birds that are lifnei akev, that are on this platform in front of the coop, and he assumes that they came from the Alma, from the Veld. But if there are no other bird coops within a certain proximity, we'll see what that is, then Harei Mutar. Then we could just assume that the birds that he designated inside the coop now left the coop, but they're perched and they are hovering on this what you call ritzbas hashovach haboletis ma'at me'ever lemechitza shel kol keim. The Gemara asks if he designated black ones and he finds white ones. Pshita, it goes without saying, these are not the ones he designated. He'd be violating these tiltul muktzah if he took the black ones when he had designated white ones, or vice versa. Amar Rabba Hachmayaskina, what's the case? He designated both black birds and white birds. Umatza shchorim bimkom levanim, levanim bimkom shchorim. The white birds were in coop A, the black in coop B, and now he finds the black are in A and the white are in B. How the time I would think in this case, Hani inu ninu, vishapchu ishapu. Let's swap coops. There was a rebellion amongst the birds, and the doves from the white doves from this coop decided, hey, I'd like to see if the grass is greener on the other side. Let's swap places. And the blackbirds from this coop decided we're going to go to the other coop. But these are all the birds that he designated. Kamash Malon, that's the Chiddush of our Mishnah. Hadhani ozduli alma v'hani achrini ninu. The ones that he designated flew, and these are from the alma. And they don't have hacham. Lema misayel le Rabbi Chanina. Shall we assume that our Mishnah supports Rabbi Chanina? In other words, we find birds on the ledge outside the coop. Are these the birds that he had designated inside the coop? That's called karov. Or are these birds from the alma, and that's called rov? And Rabbi Chanina has a principle. The Omer Rabbi Chanina, rov v'karv halech achar rov. Whenever you have a contradiction, pulling you in two directions, rov in one and karov in the other, then rov trumps karov. And that's exactly what we're saying here. We're not going to assume karov, that these birds came right here from the Shovach and they just stepped outside. We're going to assume rov, that they came from most of the birds on the veldt in the world. Omar says, no. There's no proof to Rav Chanina from our Mishnah. Kida Omar Abaye, we're going to have Abaye later on, who says, bidaf, that because of this wooden platform that comes out of the Shova, Hakanami here also bidaf, and Yonim, doves, by their very nature, the Gemara is giving a psychology of a dove, they love to go out and stand where they are, and those who are not part of the Shovach love to flock to this platform, and therefore we don't have Rov and Karov over here, because since there's a gravitational pull towards this platform from the entire world, from all proximate Shofim, therefore everyone's considered Karov. So we're not going to give a status of Karov to the birds that were initially inside the Shovach, because the birds outside the Shovach have perfect access to the platform that is outside the boundaries of the Shovach, and they are also Karov. Ismamela, you don't have a possibility to be Machriya the Suffolk with Karov, and therefore you rely on Rov. This has nothing to do with Rabbi Chanina. The Mishnah says, Shnayim u'matzah shlosha surim. He designated two birds, now he finds three. Manafsha. I don't understand this Mishnah. No matter how you slice the cake. If you're arguing that these are a new set of birds, then for sure they're all awesome. If we assume that the original two birds are still there, you have to admit, without a possibility of denying it, that there's a third bird that joined the group who's not Muchan. And when you have a tarovus, a mixture, you have to answer all of them. Tosfos asks why? Why not apply the principle of rov? And the answer is we have a rule that in Balei Chaim, live animals are not batel barov. So the Gemara is very happy with explaining the din of this Mishnah. Why is it that Shnayim u'matzah shlosha, we can't even be matir the Shnayim? Because either these are three new birds, or there's an extra bird, which is also betiltel, and he's mixed in with the two birds and had a hachon. The Mishnah says shlosha matzah Shnayim. If he's designated three and he only finds two, mutarim, my timer, why is that so? Hani inu ninu. These are the two birds that he designated. One flew the coop. Or it says, Lema Masnisen Rebihi, V'lo Rabbanon. We can only reflect in our Mishnah the sheet of Rebbe, but not Rabbanon. The Sanya, we learned in the Beitza, Hiniach Mana of Meiser Sheni. So he's got 100 zuds of Meiser Sheni. Umatzah Masayin. Now he finds 200. Says Rebbe Chulin U'Meiser Sheni Murav Sebezeh. We assume that there's 100 his original, which are Meiser Sheni money, has to treat it with Kedusha Meiser Sheni, and he added 100 of Chulin. Chachamar Makol Chulin, everything is Chulin. He must have forgotten that he took out the Meiser, because Minastam, when you take out Meiser Sheni and you put it in another place, You're going to clean out the teva, whatever it is. And now he brought double the amount of mos, which are chulin. He just forgot. He forgot that he had removed the Meiser Sheni. The Beitza continues and says, Hiniach Masayim Umatzah Mana, which is exactly parallel to our case of Shlosha Umatzah Shnayim, Mana Munach Umana Muta. We're going to assume, according to Rebbe, that mana echad mital al yedei mishu. Somebody came along and took the mana, and the other mana is what he left there, which he knows is designated Masechet Sheni. Chacham ma kol chulin. We're not going to say that he separated them one from the other. What probably happened was that he took both of them to another place. Now, our Mishnah is similar to this exact case of a niach shlosha gozlin umatzah shnayim, that even though he found less than what he originally put it down, we're not going to say that all three of them went and flew the coop. We're going to just say that one of them flew the coop. The other two are the ones he designated. That reflects the sheet of Rebbe. Whereas the Chachamim hold that the entire pot was replaced, and therefore the Chachamim say Akol Chulin. Says the Gemara, no, Afilu Teva Rabbanon. I can reconcile with the Rabbanon. Ha'itmar Allah. We learned with regard to this question that Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Lezer, the Amrit Shavayu, Shani Golzos, Hoel Vasuyim Lidados. That the reason why the Rabbanan say in our Mishnah that we assume that the original gozos are gone is because gozos have a tendency of hopping around. And they go in and they go out. And therefore the Chachamim are going to say that the one that he had designated went out, and the other two remained in the shoulder. In the case of Masechet Sheni, when we're dealing with a human being and a psychology of a man, and the mana doesn't just have wings to fly, then we're going to assume that a person came and he took them. And he's going to take whatever is in the teva, clear it out, and therefore the most that he finds now, when he finds Masayim, is a whole new set of Masayim, and it's Chulin. So the Gemara asks, "V'lama li l'shnuyei Allah shiny gozos hol v'asuyim l'dados." Why did you have to go into this docha? And you had to talk about the fact that gozos are dodo or medadados. You can avoid and circumvent that whole answer. V'itma Allah dahi. On that price of Rebbe and Chachamim, we have a machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Lazar. Chad Amar, according to one opinion, b'shnei kisei machlokes. That the machlokes between Rebbe and Chachamim, in the case where he left two monim and he only finds one monad, that's only in a case where he had two different chests and he put the two monim, each one in a different chest. Kol matbea benartik nifrad. And then Rebbe says that maybe he took one of them out, but there's no reason that compels us to assume he took the other one out from a different chest or a different wallet, an artik, it's called in Hebrew. Avo, but in the case of two matbeos, because echad divrei kol chulin, even Rebbe would agree that the two matbeos left inside are chulin, because he wouldn't have taken just one of them. He must have taken two of them, and he replaced it with a man of chulin. That's one opinion. Chad Amar, according to another opinion, the kiss echad machlokes. The machlokes between Rebbe and Chachamim is when he has all the matbeos in one nartik, in one kiss. Aval b'shnei kisim divrei hakol, even the Chacham agree, mana, munach, umana, muta. He may have taken one from one kiss and left the other one in the other kiss. And we have to treat it as Masechet because he put Masechet there. Says the Gemara, Bishlei Milaman Diyomar, Bishnei Kisim Achlokes. If you go according to Mandomer, who says that they argue in the case of two different kisim, Hainu Ditzrich L'Shnuye Hacha, Shiny Gozalos, Hoel Vasuyin Lidados. El Lamandiom because Echad Machlokes, Aval B'Shnei Kisim Divrei Hakol Mona Munach Mona Mutal, Hashalomali L'Shnuye Allah, Ha'amrit B'Shnei Kisim Lo Pligi. That the Chacham agree in the case of Shnei Kisim, we're not going to be told that they all left, and so too in the case of Golsos, which, as we said, is similar to Shnei Kisim. Even the Chacham would be Modeh, that we're not going to be told. We don't assume that everything left the coop. One left, and the other two remained behind, and therefore we can reconcile the Mishnah with Chachamim. According to this opinion, it's either Rabbi Yochanan or Rabbi Lazar, and therefore we don't need the answer of Gozlos Midadadin.